Good morning. Before we get into this morning's update, I would like to go over a quick overview of what I'm going to talk about in this morning's update. Right now, XRP is up 2.34%, and we're at the $2.57 mark. Yesterday, upon retracement, we fell down to about $2.24, $2.25. We had a swing high yesterday of $2.91. We're up roughly 2.25% so far this morning. We'll take a look at the most likely scenarios that we will most likely see this morning or going forward through the week, the weekend, and maybe the next several weeks. And we'll take a look at the consolidation zone on XRP. So before I get started on this, I would like to we'll also take a look at the XRP liquidation zones as well here today and see what the liquidity looks like short versus long traders and see where we see a possible setup starting. We'll take a look at this about the Ripple RLUSD stablecoin and what you need to know before the launch. And then we'll get through this. I got to get my son to school at 8:20 a.m. So that's something we'll have to get through this. So I'll do the intro and then we'll get started here. Good morning. 7:56 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, December 4th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So with XRP, got a couple different ways to look at this. You can look at it with the longer channel setup, where we have the resistance and support. We can look at it a slightly different way as well. If we look at it from the uptrending support down here, that started about $1.83. This could lead you back down to 209 or 222 area if it were to fill out like that. Or you can look at it like this, which is probably more appropriate, which is what I'll look at for now unless it were to break down. This is the landscape I'm looking at it as. We had the uptrending support that started right here. This was right around $2.22, $2.20. Came back down to 222, which is a great hit of support here. And now we bounce back out. Very nearly came to this uptrending resistance. Now, I think I have it up a little too high because we could look at this and say, you know, this whole pattern like this came to resistance right here, and it stayed below it the whole time. So it does look like this is possibility of if we were going to break out, you'd have to come over this section like this. So I think you're looking more like this. We talked yesterday if it were to try to flag through here that it would probably have to come back down here and at least touch 241 again, but it didn't come down that far. Came down to about 252 and then it pushed up. What was it? 250, about 250. So we'll see if this ends up playing out in a longer time frame here. But I think that downtrending resistance and uptrending support there, looking at it in multiple fronts, I think this is the consolidation we have. And then you can even tighten this up to see if you have like a little uptrend that's starting here to break out of this region. I don't know though, because you could go support to the support here. But it's tough this morning to say, oh, we're going to break out of this region, or is this going to break back down here? So we've got multiple levels that you can look at this as. So there's your first here. If it wants to bust out of here without further consolidation, this is your support structure now. And that's right at about $2.51. If it needs to break down here in the short term, we can come down to 225, well, down to that 222 area. So, I mean, I think that's a very nice way to look at this. And then if you look at the short-term setup, you got uptrending support. You've got a little bit of like an ascending consolidation here. So if it wants to break out, you could certainly see maybe something like this is forming too. But that's what I mean. There's so many different variables here. Are we breaking down or breaking out? We had a nice consolidation, but now we're going to have to let the pattern do what it needs to do. If it breaks down, 222 is the next layer. If it breaks up, you got this $2.96 area, which could be a triple resistance there, like higher highs and higher lows at the same time, which would be interesting. Right now you have higher highs and lower, well, not technically lower lows because it stopped at 222 right where the other low was. So it's a very tricky pattern here, but right now I could see it going either way. It's just we got to break out of this range. Bitcoin is doing us a favor right now because Bitcoin looks like it's getting ready to bounce off of this consolidation. The fact that it came back up and now it back tested as support 95,784. If that can hold, that's still bullish. Bitcoin, we can say, yeah, are we in an ascending wedge? That's what we're trying to figure out. But it does have what looks like the appearance of an inverse head and shoulders. A bullish W Gartley reversal here on 93,800. And now that it came back up and now back tested, if it holds 95,784, it's going to reverse back up. And next area is going to be around 98,390. So pay attention to that with Bitcoin. Ethereum as well is doing us a favor. We've been watching Ethereum because we know if Ethereum starts popping, it's going to be good for the alts. But it came up here. It wasn't able to make a new, wasn't able to get out of this broadening wedge range. Still needs to get over 3,800. You got that strong resistance that goes back multi-years, and it's downtrending at 3,840 approximately. And then if you break out of this range, the technical target's like 7,000. So there's a big target for Ethereum if it can actually break out bullishly. It's 7,667. And we've been stuck in this pattern formation on Ethereum for quite some time, going all the way back to 2021. So we've got to break out of that downtrending resistance, and then we could try to head towards new highs, all-time highs for Ethereum. But that is to be determined. But that's all the charting I'm going to get into this morning. Just a quick note, IOTA's up to 53 cents. So I know some of you yesterday seen it at 38. So it's been a big push the last like 30 hours on IOTA. It surpassed Algo, believe it or not. A lot of corrections though in the market. As you can see, 7% on VThor, 10% on VChain. And these were some that had big days yesterday. AMP was up 65% yesterday. I did an update talking about how I sold 65%, the exact amount that was up. And I kept 100,000 tokens, and now it's corrected by about 35% since that video. But still a tremendous move of 30%. VELO's up 12%. So the market doesn't seem like it's ready to just roll over just yet. But I mean, obviously, to be determined, like we always say, to be determined. And all I can do is give you the technicals based on the appropriate levels today. And XLM, and then I'll get into some of the other things. XLM, still in the same consolidation. Hasn't been able to make any noise. It's trying to reverse out of here, but even in the daily, it doesn't have a lot of potential here, at least in the short term. If we break this uptrending support here, it would be a little bit of a problem because this looks like a pennant flag setup until it's not. If it doesn't break out bullishly like it should, I mean, not that it should, but it looks like a bullish setup, especially being a pennant flag if that's what it is. If it falls out, it's 36.7 cents. If you break out, you've got 67 to 96. So could be a very volatile upswing if we can get the proper volatility. But as we can see, just because we're starting the mornings hot doesn't mean that we finish the days hot, and we've been in a consolidatory tone. So it's going to be up to Bitcoin. Watch those higher metric ones like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and see what they do throughout the day. If they start to correct, you know that it's not a good sign. And then real quick, the Bitcoin heat liquidation map. We'll just look at this in, I think, a monthly perspective. I'm going to look at this when it loads, just to see what kind of liquidity is building up on Bitcoin. Because at 99,000 plus, there's a lot of liquidity, 600 million plus, up to like 900 million in certain segments. So we'll take a look at this together, and we'll see what kind of odds Bitcoin has to come into this area, if we're being honest with ourselves. So now if you look, look at all that. Now it's 1.06 billion at 99,007. Bitcoin's going to come up there eventually. The short traders, look how much liquidity there is. Even at 98,000, there's 99,936 million in liquidity. You get up to 100 million, you've got $1 billion in liquidity. 99,800, 1.03 billion. There's so many short traders. It is in Bitcoin's best interest, and I find it very hard to believe now. I actually feel very good about this because of all that liquidity. It would be, if you're a short trader and Bitcoin lets you survive this and it crashes, thank your shining stars. When there's that much liquidity, it's unheard of not to go up there and liquidate. It's unheard of. There's several $1 billion of liquidations here. It's insane. It's insane. 99,950, $1 billion. Just below that, 1.03 billion. 1.07 billion at 99,850. These are all liquidations that can be occurred. 1.10 at 99,850. So if you think Bitcoin's not going to go up there and garner that liquidity from the shorts, I don't think we've been paying attention to crypto quite as much as we should, if that's our feelings. And then for XRP, because I got to go. Got to get my son to school. XRP. Yesterday, the liquidations, and you know, it's a day behind because of the time zones, but 42 million in longs were liquidated yesterday. 44 million in shorts. Going from the second to the third. That's incredible. Today so far, we've had 3.9 million in longs liquidated and 2.9 million in shorts already. So, what do I always say? Spot positioning. Why are we giving the exchanges all this money for free? It's so volatile. Leverage trading is not easy. Don't give the exchanges the money back. Take control of the game. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Make sure to hit that like button. If you appreciate my work, make sure you join the over 29,000 plus subscribers as we're pushing towards 30,000. Who knows? Maybe we'll hit it by the end of the year. I can't quite tell. We're up to over 29,100. If you're looking to trade crypto, leverage side, spot side, BITUNIX is my favorite as far as leverage trading and spot buying because the fees are the cheapest. No VPN or KYC. It's not sending or receiving from a bank account. You're basically using that as a medium of exchange, yada, yada, yada. HOTCOIN, I have my VELO and my IOTA. If you're interested, make sure you take advantage of that. They also have the leverage and spot. Crypto.com, I have the Visa debit card, so you don't have to send money back to your bank account from your crypto. You just put it on the card, and then you use it as a normal Visa debit card. And then I have my DGB, ZIL, VChain, VThor, IOTX, and XLM on there. If you want to send a donation, you can do PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, or you can send a YouTube Super Chat or join Tom's Army. And then XRP Healthcare is on Albank. So a lot of different opportunities, but it's up to you to make an educated and informed decision. I appreciate all the support, and don't get too high or too low in this. And if you made it till the end, hashtag be better, do better in the comments.